and welcome to Cassie's Kitchen Creations. Of course, you know, I'm Cassie. So, I hope everyone's day has started on a positive note, as mine has. I hope you're having a wonderful day despite the weather in different areas. I know that there were certain storms that came through yesterday. We'll say a silent prayer for anyone who was affected by any of those storms. We'll definitely lift them up in prayer. Okay? All right. So I'm glad you guys could join me today. Besides the storms that are raging right now, we know that summer is upon us. And so if you like me, you just like to be somewhere where it's cool. Whether it's a pool, a river, a stream, a creek, you know, a beach, wherever. Just chilling and keeping cool. All right. With that in mind, today's prep is going to be a no-bake prep, because in the heat of the summer, when we turn our stove and our ovens on, it heats our home. And even though we have our air on, and sometimes I have a fan going, just to keep it somewhat tolerable, it takes a long time for our home to cool, you know, once we've had those things on. We will be using the top of the stove, but just briefly. And we will not be using the oven. This is a no-bake prep. So, and I have several of those that I will try to share with you that I was preparing long before, you know, I actually created a YouTube channel. Right? So, the first thing I'm going to do is place the butter in the pan and allow it to melt. I don't want it to get hot. I just want it to melt. Okay, so I put my stove on roughly about 2. All right. And as I said, this is a no-bake, and today I'm going to use the Irish butter that's made from grass-fed cows. This is going to be the, and it's pretty good butter. I always use the unsalted butter, but I had this from a previous bake, and I thought I'd go ahead and use it before it expires. All right, so that's the first thing I'm going to do is put the butter in here and allow it to melt. And this is going to be a chocolate peanut butter no-bake cook. And I know there have been several people who have done these, but I do mine a little different from everybody else. You guys already know that. I definitely think out of the box. And I'll give you some tips of other ways that you can actually prepare these. So we're just going to melt the butter. And once the butter is melted, then I can add the other ingredients. And we're going to allow the mixture to come up to a boil. And it's only going to boil for like 1 minute. So I think my air conditioner can tolerate that, and it'll cool it off. But it won't heat up too bad. It'll just be around the stove. Alrighty, so it's melting. And again, you want the butter to just melt. You don't want to put it on a high heat and it melts fast and then it starts to bubble. You don't want that. You just simply want your butter to melt. So while the last little few, I'll go ahead and get started with the next couple of items. All right. So to this, I'm going to add the sugar and the milk to the butter, and also my cocoa powder. All right. So I'm going to use 1.5 cups of sugar. This is a recipe I've used before, but I don't want as many of them, so I'm going to cut it like somewhat in half. And I'm going to use, a lot of recipes, they use the white granulated sugar, which is fine. I use the Merino pure cane sugar. This is all natural. And I used this once before, and someone had wrote a little message about it, saying it is brown. You can't see it in the light, but it is brown. And this is the bone char free. This is the pure cane sugar. So I'm going to use 1.5 cups You can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer this out and have it ready to go in the butter. Alright, so we got one little piece left. All right. All right, so I have that done. So now I'm going to add the sugar. So again, I said 1.5 cups of sugar. Add that to the butter. Now I'm going to add the milk. And I'm going to add, I know a lot of the recipes call for like 1 cup of milk. I want mine to be a little consistent and to actually look like cookies. So I'm going to cut my milk. I'm going to use I'm going to use 1/2 cup of milk, and I'm using evaporated milk. You can use any of the milks. You can even use sweet condensed milk. It's just that with the sweet condensed milk, you know you're going to have to cut your sugar because it's already sweet. You can use whole milk. You can use any of the milks. Right? Whatever milk you have that's available, that's the milk, as I always say. Whether it's sheep's milk, cow milk, goat's milk, whole milk, half and half, sweet condensed milk, evaporated milk, any of them, they will work. That's a little piece of my sugar. Alright. Alright, so I got the sugar, the evaporated milk, my butter's melted, and now I need to add the cocoa. Now with the cocoa, I'm going to need 1/4 cup. Hopefully, I didn't even check it. Hopefully I have 1/4 cup. Because chocolate is real popular, whether it's a bake or a no bake. So you need 1/4 cup of the cocoa. And of course, I'm using the Hershey's cocoa, and it's the special dark. But you can just use the regular. Alright, so now what I want to do is mix this up very well. And so you stir it just to get it mixed. And then I'm going to increase the heat, and I'm going to let it come to a boil. Once it starts to boil, that's when it starts to bubble. And once it does that, then you can let it boil for 1 minute, exactly 1 minute. And then you're going to take it off, because you don't want it to boil out of the pan, and you don't want to overcook it, right? So this is going to be the only part where you actually have to apply heat. I keep it on low, about 2, until I get my butter melted, and then I mix the other ingredients. I just stir it around, make sure everything gets well incorporated together. And it seems to be, I don't see any chocolate that's showing up on the top. All right, so now I will increase my temperature on the stove, and I'm only going to do it on a medium heat. I am not going to prepare these using a high heat, because this will get very hot very fast, and you have to be careful and make sure you practice safety, because you can get burned. So you always want to follow the instructions accordingly. And this little pre-prep here just make sure that everything's melted and everything's incorporated together. Seems to be good. There's no chocolate that's still floating on the top, or as I stir it, I don't see any chocolate. That seems like it's not mixed in. So I'm good. So now I'm going to increase the heat, and I'm going to turn it up to about a medium heat. Usually that's somewhere between 4 or 5, depending on your stove, right? So now that I have my temperature increased, I'm going to just allow it to heat up and come to the boil that I want. And that's when you start seeing the bubbles that come on top of the chocolate. It just pops up. Then you let it boil exactly 1 minute. 1 minute. All right, and while that's going on, I'm going to rinse out my measuring cups and get ready for my oats. also the peanut butter. And this prep, I love maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes to prep it. A total of maybe 20 minutes, maybe. But it's just something easy and quick that you can prepare for the family on these hot summer days, just to keep having the oven on and just have something sweet around that the kids can grab and go. All right. So I'm gonna need on this part, when it's starting to boil, you make sure you stir it as well. You not continuously, but just make sure you stir it so everything stays mixed in together. If you've ever cooked and baked something, you made homemade chocolate icing, you know exactly what I mean. Someone keeps. So I'm gonna need 2.5 cups of oats. And to this one, I'm going to add the peanut butter, and I'm going to need to add 3/4 cup of the peanut butter, and then of course I'm going to need 2 teaspoons of vanilla flavor, and I'm using the Watkins, of course. And in some of the recipes, you know, you can add, it says add like 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. You can add peanut butter, any of the nut butters, almond butter, as you know, with the energy bars. I kind of explained that a couple of months back when I prepared those. You can use the cookie butter. You can use any of the butters that you would like to add. And you can add it as much as you like or as less as you would like. If you just want to have a hint of peanut butter, you can add about 2 to 3 tablespoons, and you're good. Or any of the butters, exactly. And also, if you would like to add any nut to it, you can do that as well. Almonds, peanuts, walnuts, cashews, pistachio, any of the nuts. If you wanted to, you know, put a nut flavor to it, just to have a variety, or to have like different ones, you know. So it's starting to bubble, but it's not ready yet. I just see a few in the middle. Now you want to stir it as you're heating it up, and once it actually is ready to boil for that minute, you don't stir it, because you don't want it to pop out on you. So it seems to be coming along very well. Now, when you're making this one, you need to go ahead and have your baking sheet ready. And as I showed you in the intro, I'm going to use, you can use a cookie spoon or any type of scoop you like. I'm going to use this soup spoon because I kind of like the way it's round, and it kind of scoops out really nice and looks like a cookie once you lay it. I already have my baking sheet ready. And so the reason is because this goes really, really fast once this boil is over. And you're ready to add your ingredients. You have to mix them very well and drop them, because they will get hard very quick, okay? So you have to be kind of like on your P's and Q's when you're prepping this one. As you see, I've already had my ingredients measured out, and I'm gonna go ahead, go ahead and get my peanut butter out and have my peanut butter ready, so that I can just drop everything in. And again, with the peanut butter, if you want to just go ahead and put the whole, because this is like 1 cup that's in here, and if you want to just go ahead and put the cup, that's fine. You can never have too much, because the key to it is to know how to thin it out. And I think I have I'm gonna do exactly 3/4 cup. All right. So if you seem like it's not thick enough and they're not molding, maybe you have too much peanut butter, and then you can actually add some more of your oats. All right, so I have the boil that I want. So now I'm gonna time it. So I need to let it boil for 1 minute. And in this bowl, I'm not going to stir it. All right, so make sure I got my good stir before I release this spoon. All right, there we go. We're gonna time it for 1 minute. So have your oats already measured out. Have your peanut butter measured out. You can actually measure everything, really, pre-measure, and then just have it ready. And once this finishes its 1 minute mark, then we're going to add our oats, add the peanut butter, add your vanilla, and then we're going to fold it in and make sure everything is very consistent, and then we're going to drop them. But that's the step of adding and making it consistent has to be very quick. Unless you'll be taking a spoon and like spooning them out of the pan. Now, if you want to use, I use the whole grain oats. Don't use the steel oats. The steel oats, I love the steel oats for breakfast, but in cooking, unless you're gonna grind them and make a flour out of them, excuse me, this weather's messing with my sinuses, for real. All right, this heat just doesn't play. All right, so our 1 minute is up. Basically, it starts to look kind of thick. So I'm going to turn the eye off. And now I'm going to slightly move the pan off of the eye because I don't want it to overheat. So now I'm going to add the peanut butter first. It's so messy, but messes are made to be cleaned up, right? Okay. All right, so I have my peanut butter in. Now I'm going to add the oats. I added the peanut butter because when you put it in there in the hot chocolate mix, it's gonna melt pretty quickly, as opposed to putting all the oats in, and then you've got to use a lot of elbow grease to get everything mixed. All right. So I put my peanut butter in, then I add my oats. All right. So now I'm going to stir everything up. Make sure that everything is mixed. And I need to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. These are really good. They smell really good. These are really good for the summer. And like I said, you can switch up the type of butter that you actually place in them. You can use any of the nut butters. They'll work fine. Just to have a variety. Again, you can add nuts, any nut of choice, just to have a variety. All right, so I have everything mixed, as you can see. I'll pull it back just so you can see it. And these are ready to be dropped. Okay, and this recipe that I just used, it makes about 30. But if you double it, you can get about 60 out of it. And that's why I said I was going to make half of it, because I don't really need that many. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to spoon these out and place these on the here so you can see it. And I did spray the bottom of my dish, of my baking sheet, so that my wax paper would stay. And also, I sprayed the top of it. And the cookies seem to get a really good shape, and they kind of hold it. And then they're easy to just slide off in the end. Yeah, and you can make these as thin or as thick as you like. And like I said, it'll give you 30 if you do the smaller ones, but I'm not really worried about the number. That's not really of importance. They're still going to be eaten. I'm just going to make these like a medium size. And like I said, this is something really, really easy, really, really simple, and the kids will love it. And I don't want them small. I'm just going to try to make them, you know, just a little larger. I really don't want them really, really small. But if you do them smaller, you can get like 30 out of them. I mean, if I was making it to serve, you know, somewhere where it was a large gathering, I probably would. But it's just something for home, so I'm just going to do a few of them. All right. And as you can see, as I'm pulling these out, they are already taking their shape. They're already like getting molded into shape, into that consistency. And that's why I say you have to be really quick, which is another reason why I'm not going to worry about trying to do so many of the smaller ones, because I don't want them to shape in the pan. And with these, you can, if you want to, in the end, you can actually sprinkle a little confectioner sugar on them if you wanted to add a little garnish to them. If you have, you know, a preference of anything that you want to put, if you wanted to do like, I have some whipped cream left from the blueberry clafouta that I made. And so I will drizzle a little of that on these as I serve them. But anything that you would like to do, if you wanted to add a little, a couple of nuts, like sprinkle some nuts across the top, like chop up your nuts and just sprinkle them on the top, you can. One thing I always say about when you're in the kitchen is that you think out of the box. Think out of the box meaning that recipes are written true. That's a guide that you go by. But it's not necessarily saying that this is the way you should do it every time. When you go in the kitchen, just, you know, play around with a lot of the recipes, and you never know what awesome creation you'll come up with that'll become a family favorite, right? So don't be afraid when you're in the kitchen cooking to think out of the box. Here's the final product, and as you can see, they have already taken shape. These will cool for about 20 minutes. It takes usually about 20 minutes for them to actually cool. But I did do a smaller one here just so you can see, because I knew it wouldn't take that long for it to cool. So this is a smaller one that I've made just to show you the ooey gooiness that's on the inside. Yeah. Because, you know, the smaller they are, the less time you have to allow them to actually cool. And if you by chance add a little too much or too less of the oats, and they don't take that consistency where they seem to be solid like cookies, you can place them in the refrigerator and allow them to cool in the refrigerator. You can also add some more of the oats to the individuals, because that's what they're made out of. They're made from oats, to get them to kind of hold together a little bit more. So, you know, it all comes with practice and, you know, being in the kitchen and actually experimenting, you know, and kind of figuring things out, which some people are afraid to do, but you guys know I'm not. I thought about this. I was like, oh, what's something quick and easy I can do just to have something around? And I thought about these because I've done all of the energy bars, and I actually made energy bars yesterday. And I have some in the refrigerator cooling for a student. So I was thinking of something that I could have around the house that's different, and so I figured I would do these. All right, so that concludes the no bake chocolate, peanut butter, and oats cookie that you can have in your house for your children, your family, to enjoy on these hot summer days where you just don't want to turn your stove on and you don't want to turn the oven on. All right, so I have several more recipes that are no bakes that I will share with you throughout the summer months, so that hopefully you can try them at home and kind of share with us in the comments. Take a picture, upload it, and let us know how the bakes that you do for my channel turns out for you. Even if you modify them, hey, I'm all for it. If you can perfect what's perfected, I'm all for it. All right, so thank you for coming along with me today on this prep. I hope that you guys have a wonderful end to today. Again, don't forget to say a silent prayer for all of those that were devastated in the storms that came through yesterday, because I know we got one yesterday evening that came through, and I was actually outside, and the wind was just blowing and the trees were swaying, and it just picked up everything and just was going, and I was trying to get my flowers in before the worst of it came. And then it rained all into the night, so I know what they have endured. So let's not forget to think of others, say a prayer for them and their well-being. Stay on a positive vibe. If you are a subscriber, I greatly appreciate you for subscribing to my channel. If you are visiting or you just drifted by, something you saw caught your attention, thank you, and we welcome you. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button and join our family, and also click the thumbs up as you enter into the videos, and that is the like button. And what it does is pushes all of the videos out into the YouTube world, into the algorithm, so that others see what you see. And it's just saying that it's something positive, that it was interesting, and that it should be shared. And it helps us to be able to get a broader audience on YouTube. And also leave a positive comment below, and I will respond to you as quickly as I can. And if you have someone who likes to cook or want to learn how to cook and are inspired to do things, share my channel with them. I'm sure that there are a lot of things that they can learn, a lot of tips that starting out, you kind of get discouraged because you don't know what you did wrong, because you say you follow the recipe as it was written. And sometimes you just have to break those recipes down and do them step by step, which is why I do the videos the way I do them, so that you can kind of catch things in the process of actually preparing it. And then it gets you to thinking about other recipes or modifications that you can do, or things that you would like to incorporate into it to make it better. All right, so thanks again for coming along. Everyone have a wonderful day. Stay positive, stay focused, treat everyone with the respect that you would like to be treated. Say a silent prayer for anyone who's in need, and I will see you guys on the next prep, the next bake. I don't think so. The sun's out. It's just too hot. Or maybe even a simple cook. We'll see. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.